One, you know, did we enjoy our breakfast today, that sort of thing. You stare at us, you know, like we're visiting from another planet kind of thing, just looking at us. We like to give you that moment just to look at us, you know, without bothering you with, you know, stepping outside the songs much. And it's not that, I want you to know that, it's not that I'm scared of you or anything, because we've been in all kinds of places around Australia over the last couple of months, and much scarier places than this is what I'm saying to you. And please don't try and prove me wrong or anything. I'm not trying to act tough or anything. Don't take that as a challenge or anything. But I'm going to read a bit to you out of my book, because we've got here, we're playing two sets of music, a lot of it from this album we've got at the moment, called Rock and Roll Is Where I Hide, which is like a vintage classics re-recording, you know, like Muddy Waters and Hellmouth did, you know. When they were close to death, you know, they went back and revisited their classic vintage tracks. That's what we did. Not that any of us are close to death, but, you know, that's the mindset we tricked ourselves into in the recording studio, because you can't dial that stuff in out of computers or anything. I said, everybody, I want you to play this tune like you're fucking dying. That's a much more positive direction than it sounds like, you know. It worked, yeah, the record sounds fucking great. But anyway, like I said, I'm not scared of you, but it's really good if you're a performer. If there's any performers in the room, I want you to be aware. Fear is a great thing to have on your side, you know. So people were coming up and talking to me before the show, and I was a bit alarmed because, you know, I was trying to collect my my presents together. I was waiting for a pizza actually, so I was a bit hungry. And so, sorry if I seem a bit rude or anything. But anyway, fear is a good thing to have on your side, and in the big concert areas they have a D kind of, it's called a D barrier to keep people back. We have a natural D here. I'm very proud we're able to bring it wherever we play. There's a natural D, you see a shape here in front of us. It's a psychological D that we bring with us. A D shape. I'm pointing to an empty space in front of us for those up the back. And so I also like to use anything I can to keep people away from me, because I like to have a bit of distance from people. And so I had to get some reading glasses to read out of my book, you know, and usually people would think, you know, people with glasses, they kick sand in their faces at the beach. I've heard all the stories. But I wanted to have a pair of glasses that would keep people away from me and fill them with fear. So I wanted to get a David Koresh look with these glasses. Branch Davidian cult leader. You'll find the Kool-Aid up the back of the room. Drink it. Leave any cash valuables on the table and sit down for a while. Is kind of innocence, and I leave Mount Gambier and drive off into the future. The second part, I am a made guy, a wise guy, and don't worry about Stu. He's just walking around with a camera because it takes a lot to make me excited nowadays, and so he's doing that. He's dialing in some excitement for me, and we've also seen on the television that everybody's excited by the presence of a movie camera. So Stu's dialing in a bit of excitement here as I'm standing here goofing around. So the second part of my book is like the voice of experience. Innocence and experience here, David Koresh, etc. So there's parts of it and I visit Adelaide, but I can't read it to you because you know, it's, you know, I want to get out of the room alive. I did a reading in the Maitland City Library, and I told them I can't read to you what I wrote about Maitland. And they said, "Come on, Dave, we can fucking take it." What the hell I did in Maitland. It was pretty rough, yeah. I said, "Look, I don't want to tell you." And I'll find it here what I had. And I had to leave many pauses in it, you know, to give them the total creeps. And I can't find it, but you know, I said Maitland. I said how bored I was with the place because I had to stay there for a week with Henry Wagons. You know, we're trying to avoid each other on the fucking main street there. It was impossible.
Get your guns out.
Anyway, I'll tell you a bit about Maitland. Yeah, so we have to do we have to do a set in this place in Maitland, you know, to pay for a hotel for a week. For some reason, our agent is, you know, a sadist or something. The opening act is a young girl from Melbourne. She's playing an acoustic guitar. I must mention that the majority of the audience is a football team, all dressed in women's clothes, celebrating a premiership. Luckily, they are soccer players, so they're a bit girly anyway. They very much enjoy being in miniskirts and high heels and suspenders. I think something untoward was destined to happen later on, and there would be an awkward first practice session next season. The young singer is tougher than football or indie people, however, and plays on regardless of the ugliness all around. She is joined by two backing singers who look to be about 15 years old, all in little white smocks. They add a great touch to the songs. These three do 3 sets of music to a baying and yelping room of drugged up poofs. I am impressed. They do a lot of crowd-pleasing cover versions, of course. The original material is nice, but colourless, and I'm uncomfortable with the young one singing about sexual matters. Prudish, I guess. I tell the main girl to get a Telecaster instead of the acoustic and predict that one of the backing singers will stage a coup in due course. The singer tells me I have a brilliant voice. I say, yeah, it's fucking great, isn't it? I then add, as a concept, I'm incredible, but I'm a reality. This is one of my favourite lines by Morris Day. Prince on people are fucking terrible. Anyway, I was going to read you something else as well. So I'll read you a bit, you know, about... We also went to a place called Hamilton, which is in Victoria, and I enjoyed that. This is called Hamiltonian hellmouth. You know what a hellmouth is? It's in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, so we had a lot of publicity in Warrnambool and played to a room of people who had a cool time. I'm talking that up there. The phone rang as we arrived in Hamilton. The football was on across the road at the local oval, the 2 Hamilton teams playing. I answered the phone and did an interview with a fellow in Canberra, shouting loudly in the street as the rain started to fall. I attested forthrightly to my greatness in the empty street, accompanied by groans and shouts from the football oval. Henry and I sound checked and then went for a meal. I chose a noodle joint. I've always liked that Ernest Hemingway short story, A Clean, Well-Lighted Place. This room was lit by 4 bright fluorescent tubes, and the chairs were made of aluminium. The tables were white plastic, and the Coke fridge gave the light the extra lift it needed to make us visible from an orbiting spaceship. I loved it. We ate in silence as I read the Hamilton Spectator. There was a story about me in it. The headline was great. Mojo working for King Dave. I loved that. I got my mojo working as one of my fave Muddy Waters tunes. I then turned the pages and saw many articles and photos of pigs and pig farmers and tractor sales and football talk. Then the page fell open to the local netball, and we were both transfixed by the pictures of local girls in heroic poses on the court. These corn-fed Amazons stopped us with chopsticks, and we could not talk. All the photos taken by a female photographer. They were movie stars, like Ursula Andress striding out of the waves in that Bond flick. I tried to steal the paper, but the Chinese lady pulled out her gun. We went back to the publican's ranch where we were staying and watched Wipeout on TV. Brilliant. Back at the gig, we saw that the footy had plum-tuckered a lot of people out, and going to a gig was not on their agenda. Henry kicked things off with his size 13 boots and his sweatband proudly on his head. Directly in front of him, 3 mopey drunks were taking it in turns to show him their backs and make "isn't he a fuck" looks to the young gothic barmaid. I took some photos and cruised at a low altitude on some primo cookie. I played my set as some young people from a fancy dress party proceeded to come in. A fellow dressed as Lorne from Angel cheered me up as he sat at the bar, just like Lorne would. Lorne is a green and horned empath demon who reads people's souls as he hears them sing. He sometimes sings lounge songs in his own club. There was also a girl in a bunny outfit and a ghoul in white face paint with blood on his mouth, perhaps not in fancy dress. As I played You Had to Be Drunk, a girl came up talking to me, right in my face, asking for some Johnny Cash, and then proceeded to set up a Johnny Cash chant so that no one else joined in. Anyway, it goes on and on. And anyway, Henry tries to steal the newspaper from my bag with the sports pages of the netball team.
but I fight him off. He said, I only want a couple of pages.